Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining. And as you're coming in, let me know where you are watching from and happy National Authors Day. I'm excited. I have a few surprises that I want to share with you. And I got Instagram on one screen and then Facebook on another screen. And so if you are an author, happy National Authors Day to you. And I want you to drop the link to your book in the chat from wherever you are watching from. Also, I'm going to go ahead and share it on Facebook because it looks like one of my destinations did not share. So I'm going to do that now. If you are somebody who does live streams, or if you have a group or things like that, Facebook has adjusted the way that you can stream into groups. And so it's working out the kinks. But let me know where you are tuning in from. Hey Paula, hey Michelle, thanks for watching over on Instagram. And so today is National Authors Day. So first of all, shout out to you if you're an author. And it's something where it's a journey that really makes it so that you are able, and sorry, I got things popping up here. So it's something where when you become an author, it is a journey that one, you probably didn't expect things to pan out the way that they have. And two, it's a way that really stretches you in a way that nothing else really does. And so as authors and self-published authors, who is mostly who I'm speaking to today, it's something where you are pulled in all directions. You're having to be a project manager. You're having to be an editor to some degree. You're having to be a marketer. And it's something where you are really learning and understanding things that you never thought you really had to do before. And I think about when I was in the classroom, and I was a teacher for over a decade. And so with that, you're having to be a nurse, you're having to be a social worker, you're having to break up fights if you have kids that are a little feisty. And so it just reminds me of that. But today, I want to share a few points with you if you are an author and if you are someone who is looking to try something different, but also want to stay true to yourself. Then I have a short little, I don't want to call it a training, but a few tips for you to do that. And then I'm also doing a giveaway, and so stay tuned for that as well. Be sure to share this with other authors as well, so you can tag them in the comments or you can share with them. And then if you are an author, go ahead and drop the link to your book in the chat. And author tip, make sure you always have your link readily available. If you are an iPhone user, sorry Androids, I don't know if y'all have this option, but if you're an iPhone user, you can use what's called text replacement, and you can make a keyword so that whatever you put inside, like whenever you, for example, for my keyword for one of my books is new mom, because that was my first book, New Mom Thoughts, real questions for moms with real feelings. Shameless plug. Two different covers. And so whenever I am trying to give somebody the link, I have a keyword text replacement in my phone. It's available on Apple, on all Apple devices. And so whenever I type in the short phrase, then it replaces the whole thing with the link for the book. And so if that's something you don't already have in place, go ahead and add that to your iPhone, because like I said, I don't know if Android has that. If you're an Android user, let me know if there's something else that's there, but it's called text replacement and it's under keyboards. Anyway, so back to the life of an author and ways that you can really manage all these things. And so before we get to that, I do want to share that I am doing a giveaway. And so two different options. And you also have the option to be able to sponsor someone else in this as well. So let me explain what that means. So I'm using this as well to share that I am releasing a book. This is kind of a not a great kept secret because I've been kind of dropping little gems throughout. But I'm releasing a book and it's untitled as of yet. And there's a reason for that. There's a method to my madness. And so with that, it's going to focus on helping authors to be able to sell their books through pre-orders, and not only sell their books through pre-orders, but also make it so that they're able to profit off of those pre-orders to the point where they can actually cover their author advance. And so I predominantly work with self-published authors, and I'm a self-published author myself of 3 books that have my legal government name on them. I have some other books that are private pen name books, but I'm a self-published author, and I've been able to cover my publishing expenses through pre-orders. And it's something where originally I started it because I had just had a baby, and so I had a $5,000 pay cut, maternity leave, Joy's here in the US. And it was something where like I was like, I don't have a way to cover publishing costs. And so I hosted a pre-order. And then for the next book, I thought, okay, well, 3 months later, let me do it again. And then most recently, I said, okay, let me do it again. And then let me see how good I can do. And so now that I'm on my fourth book and I've already covered the cost of publishing through a course that I have, a 8-week accelerator, and then also individual book sales for this book before I've even really officially announced it. And so if you are in the Pre-Order Profits Accelerator, shout out to you. You can type PPA in the chat. Or if you grabbed a copy of the untitled pre-order book, then you can just say, got my copy. And so, hey, Vanity, thanks for tuning in. She grabbed hers as well. But I say all that to say that as authors, we can get, and I'm on a yoga ball, y'all. Sorry, this is something I kept from pregnancy. With my last book, I had a very difficult pregnancy. And so I sat on a yoga ball and I just kind of kept it in my office. So if you see me bouncing, that's why. But it's something where as authors, we tend to really focus on books sold and pages read. And that's something that typically, and when I say authors, I mean self-published authors. Typically, that's something that is kind of a carryover from traditional publishing in terms of the book sold. When you think about the bestseller status, you think about New York Times, things of that sort, Wall Street Journal, which that's another combo for another day because those statuses are a little skewed, and disproportionately representative of certain groups. But back in our world in self-publishing, it's something where you can feel like you're competing against those things. And that's not really the goal for you as a self-published author. Like, those are great accolades. It's great to say, okay, I've sold this many books, or I've had this many page reads on Kindle Unlimited. But we really want to think about, okay, when it comes to the things that are important to you as a self-published author and what your goals are, what's mostly closely tied to that? And the authors that I see online and the authors that I speak to, it's mostly directly tied to trying to afford different things. So being able to afford life in general, if you're somebody who wants to transition to being a full-time author, or being able to afford editing, or being able to pay these different contractors and things of that sort. All of those things are tied to profit. They're not necessarily tied to books sold, and they're not necessarily tied to pages read. And of course, books sold can lead to profit, and pages read can also lead to profit. But we have to really think about, okay, if I'm thinking about pages read, right now, at least and I haven't checked lately, so if it's changed within the last couple months, I haven't been checking. But the amount that you get paid per pages is 0.004 cents on Kindle Unlimited. And then when you look at profit, you have to really consider, okay, depending upon your book, depending upon the size, if you have color or black and white, things like that, you're likely making less than $5 per book if you're using those sites such as Amazon, Ingram Spark, things like that. And so that's when it is something, it's like, okay, well, am I really making a huge profit on that? Not saying don't sell on those places. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I want you to really take a close look at what it is that you're getting from selling on those sites, and really consider having some of that ownership on your own site, especially when it comes to pre-orders, because of the flexibility that you can do, the additional items you can add to your bundles, or even having a bundle in the first place. Because if you're selling on those sites only, you're not having the opportunity to add a bundle unless you are doing like a unless you're doing an Amazon Advantage or an Amazon Seller situation, which most authors are not doing that. Most authors are printing theirs through Kindle Unlimited, most self-published authors. And I have to keep reiterating that because everybody is not self-published. So, but I will talk about Taylor Swift making the choice to become a self-published author in just a bit. So I say all that to say, when it comes to getting funds to be able to pay for your expenses, to be able to pay your household expenses, groceries are high, these kids keep eating, and it's something where you have to really think about, okay, how can I prioritize profit? And so that's why I'm so passionate about pre-orders, because it was something that helped me to be able to become an author in the first place. I was able to publish both of these, and they're the same inside, but just the cover's different. To publish both of these as a first-time author, and then 3 months later to publish this, and to be able to cover the cost, and then to rinse and repeat again with this one, and then now have another book about pre-orders for authors. And so, which, by the way, if you'd like to grab it, you can just visit. I need to adjust this link. My apologies. So you can visit the link that's in the video, and I'll put it in the captions as well. But it's something where when you are focusing on profit, you are able to do everything else. And so you still are going to be able to sell pages. You're still going to be able to get those page reads. And it's something where it's helped me so much. And so I want to give back to other authors to help them in that way. And so the way that I'm going to do that is, I mentioned earlier that I have a program that explains how to actually do this process, taking you from start to finish with self-published authors to help them to be able to pre-sell their book profitably, and it's called Pre-Order Profits. And so I have one version where I'm working with folks directly. It's an 8-week program. We've already started and am getting great results already with folks who are enrolled. And then I also have a course version of that where it doesn't include access to me, but it does give you everything you need to be able to host your pre-order successfully. And so with that, I am actually going to be giving away a slot to the program. And so for that program, it's $997. So it's almost $1,000 value. And, well, it's over $1,000 value, but the price that I charged when I opened it and made it available to folks was $1,000. And so I am giving away that to someone because I understand that everybody doesn't have the ability to invest funds, and sometimes you have to invest time. And when I was first publishing my book, so the New Mom Thoughts book, and even really the most recent books as well, I'll say the first two. So with the first two books, it was something where I didn't have the money to invest because I had recently had a son, like I mentioned earlier, and so I had a pay cut, and so I had to figure out how to do it myself. I had to look up things on YouTube University. I had to join free challenges. I had to read books. And so I understand that life, and I get that. I get that there is something where if you're not sure how to create your own advance as an author, then you are having to come out of pocket with those things. And so I sympathize with that. I understand everybody's not in a condition to be able to just drop that kind of money out of pocket or even on a payment plan. And so I want to give away a spot for that. And then I also want to invite you, if you are somebody who feels endeared to authors or you feel as if you want to bless someone else, I want to invite you to be able to sponsor someone else. And so potentially instead of just giving away one, we could have two. As well, if you're thinking, okay, I'd really love to help out, but that's a little bit too much for me, then I am also giving away 5 copies of the book once it comes out. And so with the book, you also get access to my Poppin' Pre-Sales private podcast. That's a mouthful. And so with the podcast, I will be giving an inside look at the process of my current pre-order. So it's going to be it's already, first episode's already dropped, dropped this week. And so it's something where I give a behind the scenes look, I go in depth, and I share the rationale, the why, the reasoning why I decided to organize my pre-sale this way, and how the results are, how things are going, what works, what doesn't work, things of that sort. So it gives you behind the scenes look. And so anybody, whether you buy the book or you join the accelerator or you sign up for the course, then I'm going to give you access to that podcast as well, because it's always helpful to be able to see behind the scenes what it is that people are doing and how they're able to kind of move in that way, not necessarily to copy, but to be able to get inspired. Because when you are so busy writing and you're so busy focused on what it is that you are doing, then it can be really tricky for you to take a look back and kind of zoom out. And so that's something I'm including as a free bonus as well. And I need to turn on my comments because let me see. Okay, I'm using some fancy software. Um, and so I need to open those up. But I do see your comments on Instagram. And so, okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Hey, Conrad. Thank you. Okay. Veronica said, that's so amazing. You're a generous girl. No problem. I understand that people have, and I was trying to get your comment to pop up, but the words didn't pop up. But I understand that people have different things going on, and it's a season where some people are just really unsure of what's going on, especially with the election coming up or in process. I've already voted. Hope you have too. If not, please go vote. Early voting ends today in a lot of places. I know it does here in Georgia. But it's something where I don't want people who are genuinely ready to do the work and who are genuinely excited to be able to create a life that they haven't had before and to be able to reach people in ways that they hadn't before. It's something where I don't want people to be held back by that. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? And so when I think about, for me, like times that I've needed that kind of support, if I hadn't had people to be able to pour into me, like through free challenges or through books that I read and things of that sort, then I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today. And so I want to be a blessing to other people. And so if you are somebody who is like, okay, that's me, I need that kind of help. If you are wanting to join, let me do it this way. do it privately, so that way you don't have to put yourself on blast, because that's not what this is about. Um, so what you can do is you can shoot me a message, and so whoop, all my screens just went away. You can shoot me a message. I need to stop clicking though. You can shoot me a message on whatever platform you're watching, and just comment course if you're somebody who's going to commit to doing the course and actually going through the steps while it's paced out, because it is paced for you to be able to do it, for you to be able to successfully create your own author advance with your pre-order. If you have a book you want to release and you're just not sure how to make a profit from it, you're not sure you're not sure how to get it out there in front of people to be able to release it in a way that is exciting for other people to join in, then I want you to send me the word course, and let me write this down so I don't forget the words. So if that's you and you're like, I need that spot, then send me that message. And then if you are someone who wants to sponsor a course, then just send me sponsor course. And then if you're like, okay, I can't do that, but I would still like to help. If you would like to sponsor somebody for a book, then just send me sponsor book. And then if you're like, I need a book, just send me the word book, and I'll know what that means. Okay. And then I will connect the sponsors with the book folks, and I'm doing 5 books for myself, and then 1 course spot for myself. Now, just as a what is the word? Maybe a reminder, but just point to note, for the course, it doesn't include access for feedback from me. It's just the course by itself. But however, like I said, it has videos and trainings and guides and templates and things like that. So it will be plenty for you to be able to pre-order profitably, for having to host your pre-order profitably. And then the book, once again, it's a pre-sale, so it's not out just yet. So it will be finished and released within late December, early January. But either option that you do, you'll still get access to the private podcast. And if you're like, I just want to get access to the private podcast, then go ahead and order your copy of the book. And you can visit book.preorderprofits.com, and I'll put that in the chat. Over on IG, just comment profit, DM me the word profit, and then I will send you the link for it, because for links on IG, you won't be able to send it to me. So, whoop. One moment, goodness gracious. Done switched my screens out. Pause, one moment, sorry. Okay. This is what happens when you have the fancy tech, and then you're like, I want to do what I want to do. There we go. Okay, goodness. All right, so let me check the chat. Okay, so Paula said tuition. Yes, I understand tuition is expensive. I'm right now, so tuition is the only reason why she didn't enroll within the accelerator, but it's an amazing program. Yeah, and so thank you so much for your support. I understand that things are expensive right now, and hopefully they'll start to come down soon. I heard inflation is going down, and actually that it's more so corporate greed than it is inflation in some cases, and so. But yeah, thank you for that. And so, okay, let's kind of switch gears. So I do want to talk about Taylor Swift. So I was going to do a talking head video, but I'll still do that. And so with Taylor Swift, I want to just speak about how she recently decided to self-publish her book. And if you're not familiar with Taylor Swift, she's a pop icon. She's a billionaire, more so closer to the self-made side, we'll say that. And for her, she's releasing a book, and she's exclusively releasing it to Target. I do anticipate that she will, and sorry, she's also a philanthropist. She does a lot of donations as well. And so right now it's exclusively available to Target. However, I do anticipate that she's actually going to make it available in a wider area. And I say that because, once again, this kind of parallels with the pre-order aspect. And I say that because when you are doing your pre-order on your website, then it's something where you are creating an exclusive experience for people. And so what that means is that you are making it so that that's the only place that they can purchase the book, which allows you to be able to add additional bonuses, additional experiences, additional things that make it so it's possible for people to have an elevated experience with you. And so that's another reason why I'm such a proponent of doing pre-orders on your site, and then shifting over to Amazon KDP and IngerSpark in that case. And then if you still want to continue your selling on your site, that's a great option as well, if you have the capacity. Everybody doesn't have that. And so back to T Swift. And so I'm not necessarily a Swiftie or a Beehive, whatever. Just I love what both of them are doing in their own ways, in their own aspects, but I'm looking at it more from a marketing standpoint. And so with this, she's creating exclusivity. She's creating it to use a platform that is widely reached to folks. And it's also something where, because she's choosing self-publishing, she's able to control aspects of her book. And so with that, that even more closely aligns with self-publishing, because a lot of us became self-published authors because we either didn't want to wait to get picked up by an agent, we didn't want to wait for approval from someone else, even once you get picked up, of you need to adjust this, your cover needs to have that, things of that sort. We wanted that control. And so, and not in a way that's like overbearing control, but in the sense of that you wanted to be able to harvest those things and to be able to do what you want to do. And so when you are also doing your pre-order on your site, you have that ability, you have that control. You can create a completely unique experience for your books. And so, for example, one of my authors, Tashawn Creswell, for her first book, she created a kind of a grown and sexy party for her. It was at a lounge, PG, but she created a grown and sexy party at a lounge for her book launch. And so she was able to get the location sponsored, and then everybody who bought a ticket to the book launch party was able to also get a copy of the book and attend the event. And so, not that you can't do that if you have a pre-order on Amazon. However, the lead up to it and the ability to connect with your customers is just different. And so if you're not sure, or if you're not aware, when you are putting your book on sites like Amazon KDP and Ingram Spark, you don't have access to customer data, meaning you don't know who's buying your books, you don't have their phone number, their email, anything like that. So you can't really follow up with them to even say thank you. And so when you are doing a pre-order on your site, it makes it so that you're able to have that information. Of course, if they consent, obviously we're not doing this in an unscrupulous way, but you can elevate that customer's experience. You can send them thank you notes. You can let them know. You can send them extra little goodies and things of that sort. And so, say all that to say, I think it's very big and very, very telling that Taylor Swift has decided to go the self-publishing route. And I'm not saying she's doing a pre-order. These are just things that are extensions of that. But it's something where she could have gotten a publishing deal like that. It would have been nothing but a thing. And I'm sure people have already approached her to publish a book. But she understands the power, and she also understands the profits that come when you're hosting things on your own, in your own places and in your own capacity. And so she probably has a little bit more navigation and wiggle room because she's a bigger artist. However, you also still have that same ability as a self-published artist. You just want to think about, or not artist, author. You just want to think about the ways in which you can make that happen. And so that's another reason why I'm such a huge proponent of pre-orders, and why I invite you to grab a copy of my upcoming release that is surrounding pre-orders. It's not called Pre-Order Profits just yet, because actually one of the things I'm going to do as a unique experience is walk through the process of naming a book. And so that's going to be one of the master classes that I'm including with those who are a part of the accelerator and a part of the course. And I'll invite other folks who are not a part of either of those to join us. But part of the process is to be able to decide how to name your book and how naming your book affects your profits and how it affects your searchability and things of that sort. And so all these extra little things are possible when you're hosting a pre-order, and it really just builds up the anticipation and makes it so it's a fun experience for your readers. So once again, if you were not here earlier, I am giving away one course access spot to my pre-order profits course. And so if you were someone who's in need and you wanted to sign up, but you just were not able to, for financial reasons or whatever the case may be, then I want you to DM me the word spot. And then if you're someone who's like, I would like to sponsor someone or put some money towards a sponsorship for somebody to have access to that, then you can DM me the words sponsor course. And then if you're thinking, okay, I really just want the book, or I really just want to get access to that private podcast with all the behind the scenes information, then I want you to DM me the word book, because I am giving away 5 copies of the book when it comes out. Or if you're like, I'd like to sponsor some books for folks, then you can DM me the word sponsor book. So let me check the chat and make sure I didn't miss any comments from this. And then this is kind of serving as my official book announcement on National Authors Day. And I thought that was very fitting because, I mean, come on now, this is my 4th book. And so it's something that I'm excited about sharing with you all. All right. Okay. So I think I have read all the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about either of those. And I will check my message request because I know sometimes things go there. But I want to encourage you, if you're an author, to stay the course and to be uniquely you. And so that's something that I am in a season of remembering and something that I'm in a season of continuing to do. And I say that because when I speak to authors, often there's a lack of confidence that's there, and there's a lack of understanding how your uniqueness makes you stand out. So often, even outside of the author space, but particularly in the author space and entrepreneurial space, we have the tendency to compare ourselves to others. And I want to encourage you to know who you are and know what you're for. And that's actually a book that I recommend in the course is know who you're for. It's about customer service. But I want you to do that because it's something where when you understand who you are, when you understand what you bring to the table, when you understand how it is that people are gravitating towards you and why people want what you're putting out, then that helps you to tap into your unique power, unique ability. It's something where I know that I'm somebody who's a motivator, I'm an encourager. I will gas you up in a heartbeat if you're doing good stuff and you're doing what you need to be doing. um, but I also understand that the Holy Spirit gives me things to say to people. And so I've made it my business to say those things to those people who I'm assigned to. I understand everybody's not my assignment. And for example, when I was sharing about my my upcoming book on pre-orders, which is a very meta Inception, Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder playing a dude who's playing a dude. All of that is very like layered in terms of I'm writing a book to show authors how to pre-sell their books, and I'm hosting a pre-sale for that book. And so explaining that in a concise way for people to understand is something that is a little tricky, but it's something that I know that that's my calling and that's what I need to do, because there's too many authors who are so concerned about, okay, how am I going to afford these things? How am I going to get my books out there? I can't really wait on getting my book traditionally published, especially people that look like me, because historically we are not accepted by the big five traditional publishers. Smaller publishers, yes, sometimes they will, but even statistically, people that are Black and brown typically are not picked up by those types of publishers. And so that's not something that is fair, of course, in the first place, but it's also not something that should stop you from being able to publish. And so pre-orders have been something that have helped me to be able to publish all of my books, in the sense of I'm able to afford to publish because I do pre-orders, and because I do pre-orders that don't just focus on my book. I'm not just focusing on books sold. I'm focusing on creating an experience for my readers. I'm focusing on helping them to be able to go on a journey with me. And it's something that I want to share with other authors, because I think I know if they were able to help create this experience for their folks, then the income would not be an issue. So, okay, I'm on my soapbox. All right, let me read the chat. All right, so Paula said, thank you. Needed this midday pick me up. The enemy is busy. Yes. And so it's something where we can get really in our heads about what it is that we're supposed to be doing and what it is that we are here for. And so I want to encourage you to think about, what is it that you bring to the table? Why are you uniquely positioned to write a book about this thing? And to understand that there are people who want the thing that you're writing about. It's something where I did a post recently talking about there are 8 billion people in the world. 8 billion people. I'm rounding up. 8 billion people in the world. And you really only need 1% of those people to buy your book. Less than 1%, honestly, less than 1% to buy your book. And when you think about it like that, like, okay, I mean, I can find less than 1% of a billion people to buy my book and buy my services and buy my products. And then also another quote that I like that I share with folks is that God made 8 billion people in the world and decided that we needed one of you. And so you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. And so it's something that I want you to remember, that as you're writing these books, as you're thinking, okay, how am I going to pay for these illustrations? How am I going to pay for this editing? How am I going to make my mark here on the world? Remember that your book is a gift for other people, even though it's something that's given to you. So once again, I'm about to wrap up. I said I was going to make this short, but if you are joining late, I am sponsoring for one person to join my Pre-Order Profits course for free. And I am also opening up for other people to sponsor someone else. And so the course it's an 8-week course, and it walks you through the process of being able to publish profitably. And it's something that I've used the system is something that I've used to create my own advance as an author and also help multiple authors do the same. And so I packaged it up into a course to be able to help people more quickly. And then it's something where if you want to join, then if you just want to join because you're like, I need that, then you can visit ppa.preorderprofits.com. But if you want to sponsor someone, then you can just send me a message that says course sponsor, And then if you need to be sponsored, then you can send me a message that says course. And then if you are wanting the accompanying book, the matching book that teaches the same process, it's just in a book form as opposed to a course, then you can send me a message that says book. And I'll know that means that you want to be one of the 5 people, the 5 books that I'm giving away. Or if you want to sponsor someone else for a book, then you can type in sponsor book. And then I will connect you with the folks that need the book. So thank you so much for joining, and you'll be hearing more from me, of course, during this launch process. And one other thing I want you to consider is that if you're an author, if you're creative, if you are somebody who is a business owner, as you're consuming content, even this piece of content, I want you to look at it as a marketer, look at it as a business person, as opposed to a consumer. Okay? So keep that in mind as you are watching things. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's get these pre-sales popping. Have a good one.